Hey, everybody, and welcome to the next edition of Cryptocopia's weekly AMA live stream series. We are live. I'm your host, Mike Spellcheck, if you're in the Discord or on Twitter. And today I'm joined by influencer and full-time trader, full-time trading expert, Crypto Michael. He tweets his views on the crypto charts. He has a Telegram group where he shares his best setups, whatever he's watching, chart-wise, and shares that with the Telegram. So let's welcome Michael to the channel. Michael, how are you today?
Hey man, I'm actually quite cool. I'm going to see my parents in the first time in 6 weeks, so looking forward for that. Doing fine, shorting right now.
You're
So
shorting. You're
yeah,
shorting right now.
a little bit.
What makes you bearish?
Well, the rejection earlier this night on Bitcoin at 4K was quite severe, and the buying pressure is slightly slowing down. So I feel like we are going to see a small retracement. Well, we can actually see it in the charts after like 30 minutes when we're going to share it. But a small short hedge. Overall, the trend is bullish, so it's just hedging myself.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a great point that you just mentioned. So listen, everybody, we're actually going to do something new today. We're going to screen share, and Michael's going to walk us through some of his charts and, what he's looking for in a trade, what he's seeing, for the next, I don't know, what kind of time frame you're looking at, maybe a few weeks, maybe daily, we're kind of leaving the floor to you. But why don't we talk first a little bit just about your background? How did you get into crypto? When did you first start trading?
I actually got involved in crypto during February, March of 2017, because some of my friends bought Ether back then and they were making money. So yeah, I'm an economics student, so everybody wants to make money, and therefore I just got introduced by that. And during the months after that, we saw the alt spring, alt summer. And well, yeah, that got me attached to it with the big profits you could make by then. And during that period, I actually started reading about blockchain, the future of what I feel like is the economy gonna be looking like. And yeah, well, right now I got like addicted, I guess. I don't know. Took over my life. Um, Started to buy something during the summer, started to chart something during after summer because I saw things went up and down and people were tweeting about it, and I saw experts charting and deleting their charts, and then I started to tweet about them myself, and that just took a whole road.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started 15 months ago with just tweeting about it, and right now I've got 35k followers. Wouldn't expect that at the beginning, but it's cool. It's cool to just do this for a living right now. Actually, I'm still in my student room, but I'm doing this for a living right now.
You mentioned when we were talking before the live stream started that you were just watching work on the television. You work at the Amsterdam Stock Exchange?
Yeah, I am a full-time trader there from the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, and there's like a Dutch channel constantly, which is RTLZ, and they are discussing the equities markets on a daily basis. So that's actually my office, which I can see from here on the TV. And we are there with a group of 10 people. There's a fund, there's an ICO consultancy, and I'm there as well. And we're just connecting network to help each other out because it's such a small world and we can just benefit from each other.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's a very small room. I mean, the whole industry is, I would say.
Yeah, every event is just meeting good friends you see on every event. It's just a small family, and especially in Amsterdam, there's a big community. So yeah, it's cool.
Do you trade anything outside of crypto, or are you crypto only?
Um, Generally just crypto only. However, I've been putting some money into commodities lately. Um, Bought some gold and silver, which I actually I'm looking for to sell. But I'm also just investing for the long term, and therefore I'm buying platinum and uranium, but not yet the equities markets, as I just want to see how they are evolving, and just trading crypto. You can't have them all. You can't
Right.
trade them all because it's just too much.
It's too much to watch. So speaking of trades, what do you look for when you're looking at a setup? What do you usually want to see before you'll put your money in?
Well, actually, we had the small bottom at 3.4K, and that was quite smooth one, which is lower sell pressure, making some bullish leverages, nice wedge play, and that's actually what I'm looking for. And now it's the same, flipped over, rising wedge, lower for bias volume, bearish divergence. That's just and a big rejection. That's just easy short. There are just standard plays all the time, and when I don't see a good one, I'm just not playing it. You have to have some sort of rules before you are actually trading it. There are even bigger accounts just constantly tweeting about their rules, like Cryptocopia and Donald. They are just constantly tweeting about their setup and about their rules. You have to have a rule and risk management before you're actually trading it. So I'm not just buying all of a sudden, especially not the smaller altcoins.
Yeah, and you know what, risk management. I'm glad you brought that up because that's I think it's an underrated part of trading. I mean, I'm not a huge trader myself, but I guess it's the least sexy part of trading, but it seems like it's the most important part. Would you agree?
Yeah, it is. And actually, if you do a proper risk management and portfolio management, you can actually compound your profits and go all the way. So it's all about discipline and calculating what your risk will be. Not if you lose a trade, that's fine, but cutting your trade at 1.5% instead of holding them because you feel sad about it and lose 15%, you actually have to make like 20% back, which is not easy. So discipline and risk management are so important, and just emotional basis actually, and not reading social media on a constant basis. Most of them are like shit, man.
I feel like that applies to anything in life, straight up. Social media can be poison sometimes.
Yeah, but just listening to other analysts, I'm like, okay, cool, but for the equities markets, everybody is bullish for this year. Everybody is, and we all know when the majority is thinking something, it doesn't happen. So people are putting their life savings into equity markets right now. Well, the equity markets were skyrocketing the past few years, and they are actually just saying, "Oh yeah, we go up some more." Even somebody was saying that Apple would go to 2 trillion. Well, it dropped down 40% afterwards, and the
Yeah.
same happened with oil, and the same happened with Amazon. So make your own plan instead of listening to others constantly. That's sort of the basis, I guess.
I'm really surprised to hear that, especially with all the uncertainty in the global equities market, the Chinese trade war with America and, just the insane volatility that we've been seeing compared to what you would normally expect from equities.
Yeah, it feels like we are in some sort of January of 2018 in the Bitcoin market, in which we have had a first drop and are now making the trap on the equities market. Well, everybody is still bullish on it, and I don't see it. There are so many fundamental points going on right now. You've got the trade war, you've got Trump being an asshole, you've got some countries in a recession already, you've got Brexit coming up. So there are like big things happening right now which wouldn't suit actually another bull run. So yeah, that's what I've learned in about a year. Not listen to everybody, just make your own plan.
Fair. So speaking of, the beginning or end of a run, as far as crypto is concerned, what kind of milestones would you be looking for? What would you want to see before you would call a bottom and say that the worst of the bear market might be over?
Well, I guess it's I want to see what I generally want to see is marking a bottom is that we see big bullish divergence on bigger time frames, a huge volume spike, and everybody turning bearish instead of bullish. And that's what I want to see before I'm actually confirmed that we have seen the bottom. Right now, it's just too smooth. Everybody flipped bullish way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we have to get out of this sort of instant bullish sentiment quite fast. We have to get rid of like 90% of the ICOs. Many of them are actually already wrecked. and they didn't sell their tokens. So we have to get rid of more of these ICOs. There will be more stories of actually bankruptcy, and then I'm getting confirmed that we are close to the bottom. Right now, I'm not. I just feel like it's an upwards correction.
Do you think more SEC regulation will be a part of that as well?
It will suit the market in the future, but I don't feel like that sort of news is actually affecting the price. The same narrative with the ETF. That would not. Okay, if we get denied again, maybe we can see a small price drop, but it's not affecting the price immediately. That's what I feel like. Despite when we see the actual bottom and the ETF gets approved all of a sudden, then it's like sell the rumor, buy the news concept. But overall, news is not really what I'm looking for. But it's mostly you just see it in the charts.
Do you think the SEC might start enforcing and bringing some of the ICOs from last year to court, which could lead to some of the bankruptcies that you were talking about?
They will. I'm in contact with the Dutch one, the AFM, and they are also investigating the ICOs and the structure behind it. So we will see many of these ICOs go to court when they are not following the rules. I'm quite sure about it, because all of these ICOs are just securities, basically, most of them. So if they don't apply to the rules set by the SEC or the AFM, they will go to court, and most of them will. Most of them are dead already. Some of them committed fraud. So we will see that, and that will actually take place during the bottom phase of the crypto or Bitcoin or whatever. It's not going to suit a boomer, I say. So yeah.
Okay. So why don't we pivot a little bit just to trading and your strategy. So I'm just curious if you would rather swing, trade like a large cap coin, or if you're more focused on shit coins, or it doesn't really matter to you as long as the chart looks good.
As long if there's volume, I'm interested. If there is no volume, I'm not interested. So I'm mostly trading the bigger coins because of the volume and just natural price movements, organic actually. And sometimes I'm trading shit coins when they just pumped. Then you have got to trade the retracements. That's fine. But the smaller coins are just so wicky, and you get stopped out, and they actually try to search your stop. So that's not what I'm looking for. And there's like no volume at all in the market despite the last few days. So you have to stick with the bigger ones.
Makes sense. Yeah, and there can be so many random pumps because of the influence of a pump and dump group, which I'm still there.
Yeah, and also you don't have the ability to short them all. So you don't have the ability to hedge. And when you're trading a small coin which only has a BTC pair, you get stopped out. But if BTC dumps, you get fucked in your ass twice. So there's no point in doing that, actually. Yeah. If, for instance, if Komodo drops down 10% and Bitcoin drops down another 5%, then you go down like 17 or 18%. And people forget about that.
And you're having a shitty day.
Yeah, so it's first the big ones, they have to pump up, and when they stabilize, the smaller ones will follow. That's what we have seen the past month or two.
Which TA indicators do you prefer to use? Like, what are your favorites and what are your least favorites?
I don't use many. I'm using the RSI and sometimes the MACD, using moving averages for actually resistances and support. And furthermore, just price action, volume, and Fibonacci. I really love Fibonacci, indicating where they are going to bounce or whatever. But price action, Fibonacci, volume, they are the three you actually have to use. Sometimes even Elliott waves, but you can count them all the way. And just change your bias when it's going wrong. So it's not really helpful when trading. But that's what I mainly use.
Do you play around with new indicators, Ichimoku clouds, anything, outside of your usual, or are you pretty, sticking mostly to the bread and butter?
I kind of feel like that on a certain point you just like some indicators, and what you want to do is be the best in that. If you're good in one strategy or a few, just specialize and there you're done. Like for instance, the other ones, Cryptocrat and Donald, what I just mentioned, they have one strategy and they stick to that because they know how that strategy suits them.
Mm.
And if I switch all the way to Ishimoku clouds without knowing the background or without knowing everything out of it, it's quite difficult to adjust. And Ishimoku clowns are quite difficult to use on a smaller time frame. They are suitable on the bigger time frames or whatever strategy you want,
Mm.
um, but not on the smaller ones. And I just want to be good in what I'm doing right now and make that better before I'm actually switching or whatever. So
And
yeah,
what about FA? Like, are you paying attention to fundamentals at all? Is that really not too big
I
a
don't
concern
really
to
care.
use?
I
Okay.
don't really care. Actually, I'm getting irritated by people saying, "Oh yeah, this dump is so Mount Gox selling right now, or this dump is this hack or whatever." It's BS, man.
Yeah.
Uh, in the equities market, it's a little bit different, but everything in crypto is just at this stage is speculative and pure TA. That's how I feel. Like sometimes you can see a mainnet release coming up, and then there's some hype, but overall it's just pure TA. So
I don't
not.
know. I don't know if you follow Niraj on Twitter, but he tweeted or retweeted a link of an article from I think Forbes, maybe, or maybe it was a different publication, and they were saying, yeah, this pump from this past week, Bitcoin's pumping because JP Morgan released a stable coin, not a stable coin, but their own cryptocurrency. And he's like, oh yeah, this is why.
Yeah, yeah, sure, man. Go ahead with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
being,
I,
being as sarcastic as he could, but
yeah, but we've had so many narratives uh,
mhm.
in the past 18 months. We had Chinese New Year, we had consensus, we had
Wall
so
Street
many,
getting their bonuses.
yeah, we had so many great fundamentals coming around with Box, with Fidelity, with the ETF, probably with now JP Morgan stepping in and more people actually stepping in from the institutional side. But the price isn't moving. So it's not the market right now that the news actually matters. It's just pure TA, pure breakouts, people buying because of the breakout, people selling because it's a selling point. It's actually in every market. But fundamentals, I don't know, man. Doesn't really matter, honestly. It
But I
does
mean,
longer term, though.
honestly, I feel like that's got to be a trader's dream, because if you can rely as close to solely on the charts as you can, like if that's relatively predictable, that'll work at least for a while.
Uh,
Maybe that'll change in a brief moment, or maybe that'll every now and then there'll be an exception to the rule. But
yeah, it will change. Uh, but right now, it's actually traded heaven is crypto, I guess. However, we have to see the volatility to be staying around. Otherwise, we have to switch to forex, which we have seen in the sideways notion for like 2 weeks that nothing is actually moving.
mhm.
But it's actually a trader's paradise. It's very technical, to be honest.
So CME's Bitcoin futures are expiring on
Oh yeah, there's another one.
tomorrow, the 22nd. Are you expecting a dump because of that, or is that like a, just kind of a one-off narrative that probably isn't going to say a lot?
It has been a big narrative in the past, right? But right now it doesn't do that much. Um, but no, I'm not expecting a dump from it. I'm not expecting like a big dump from the market right now. Um, but no, I don't think it will influence the market that much. Maybe the hour of the actual closing, we've seen that during the hour that there's like a big wick and then all of a sudden we pump back up or
Mhm.
drop. But like no, these are all just narratives people are listening to, and it's bullshit.
So just a heads up, everybody. I see we already have a ton of questions in the AMA thread, but we're going to switch over there in 5 minutes. We're going to take your questions and ask. You're going to ask Michael directly. So looks like we got some good ones. So you 5-minute warning. Feel free to keep posting. and we will ask Michael whatever you want. What else do I have for you? Let's see. We talked about shorting a little bit. I know some people feel queasy about shorting crypto, but you said you use it as a hedge?
Yeah, and just as a trader, you shouldn't be caring about it. You're just in here to make money, and when you see a short opportunity, you short. That's it.
Does
I
the I guess the magnitude of the swings in crypto worry you at all? You know, where you would have a 20% gain or loss, where in equities there might be a a 3 to 5% change would be a crazy day.
Yeah, you can use leverage if you want in the equities market, so that's no problem. Um, but it's if you're a trader, you actually have to play both sides. So if you only play the long side, then there are a few weeks of the month that you can actually not trade at all because markets retrace. And by only playing one side, you're risking yourself to more risk because you can't short, you can't hedge, you have to play a different strategy. You constantly get stopped out when and make a loss. So you have to hedge yourself to be profitable on a constant basis. For instance, right now, it's not a long. So if you didn't enter, you're actually still waiting for a long. And it's more or less getting like towards a short. So you have to hedge yourself in case the market turns around you. Turns to, and well, what I just said, but like you have to play both sides to actually be profitable on trading. And you shouldn't be caring about, oh yeah, now I'm shorting the market and that's so not cool to do or whatever. It's about your own bankroll. Nobody cares about it. Furthermore, nobody cares about you. It's about your own bankroll.
Mm.
So yeah, and I've been watching the Bitcoin chart in the last hour, and I'm like, okay, maybe we can go long though. But yeah, shorting is just one of the tricks you have to use as a trader. And with
It's
Bitcoin, it doesn't belong to anyone, so it belongs to all of us. It's not a company you're actually destroying, so that's also a different one.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's, sort of a different, well, there's, I guess, a lack of a like philosophical problem with not philosophical, but, if you're shorting Bitcoin, you're not hurting anybody.
No, but it's like unethical to actually short Bitcoin because you're a believer. Um, but I'm not that big of a maximalist, so I'm just playing the game. And when I see a short, it's a short. And whenever I'm not shorting, other people will. So who cares, right? Yeah.
Fair.
And the end, it's all about your own. So yeah, I don't see the problem of shorting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, why don't we open it up? Let's open the floor and get some of these questions going. So first off, Yicky is asking you, Michael, what keeps you motivated to keep trading when some of your portfolios take a loss, especially if it's a huge loss and you get wrecked? How do you stay motivated?
Well, um actually, you're getting more like an adult and you start learning about yourself when you make big mistakes. And during the past 18 months, I've made some big mistakes, learned from it, made me stronger. But it's all about like portfolio management and risk management. Yeah, sure, my long-term portfolio is wrecked as hell, like right now. But I don't really care because I don't need the money. And with just trading, when when I make profit, that's just my income. When I lose some, okay, that's fine. But in the end, it's about being sustainable and have a constant income. So whenever I'm wrong on something, I just cut the loss and go to the next one.
Mm.
It's just like being a robot, automatic. But yeah, the long-term portfolio, I didn't check my portfolio in ages for that one. That's yeah, I don't want to see it, man.
I was
But
just
it's
gonna ask you like emotionally how you kind of manage it, but I guess just not checking
not
portfolios.
checking, just avoiding. And yeah, there are like opportunities on every daily basis. So if I make money with trading and I have my income, I don't have to actually think about my long-term portfolio. I'm actually just adding to my long-term portfolio on a constant basis, because from let's say Ether from $80 to $160 is 100%. So that's just a big profit you can make. It's the same as when Ether went from 700 to 1400. It's also 100%. So it's not that hard to actually make money. However, if you're an investor and you start in 2017, yeah, then it's a hard time right now. But I'm just adding and just DCAing and not really caring about the actual value right now.
All right. I love it. Next questions from Yellowson. They're wondering with what percentage of your portfolio you trade. If you have a rule where you trade only a certain percentage, and how you kind of, set those rules for yourself.
Well, it used to be around 15% for my trading stack. It's like 10% I'm trading for my day trading and another 10 to 15 for swing trading. However, with the movements of the past months, I guess the values have been rebalanced. Let's say it that way. But yeah, it should be around 10 to 20% maximum you should be trading.
Okay.
Especially when you're a day trader, and especially when you're using leverage. Because when you're using leverage, you can actually go wrecked if you're not using a stop loss at all, or just wick through it. And I'm not really that type of guy to use BitMEX because I hate the site, but and people shouldn't be actually using leverage at all as a risk management. I see some beginners using BitMEX as just a standard and just trading 10x, 20x, and I'm like, dude, it's all about the right setup. If you get the right setup, it doesn't matter what leverage you're using. First, get the right setup. And if the setup is right, you can add leverage. It's not about, okay, I just buy here because of this and can make this type of money. It's about getting the right setup and knowing what you're doing instead of the other way around. So it's just a small portion.
What typical leverage are you using?
I'm not on BitMEX. I'm on Bitfinex. So that's 3.3 max. They don't allow for more. So yeah, there you go. There are more sites actually adding leverage trading or futures trading. So, but I'm not using more. I'm feeling confident by this.
Havohe, I hope I pronounced that right, is asking, how are you dealing with all these stop loss hunts and fake breakouts, upside or downside, either way?
Still figuring out. It's shit, man. Sometimes you get just wicked and then it bounces back up. But I'm working with the fund and they have the exact same problem. They get wicked out constantly. So proper risk management, setting it a little bit wider, or just waiting until a confirmed setup comes around instead of just jumping in and putting a stop quite close. But that's one of the things I'm still figuring out, honestly. Especially during these sideways Bot Simpson patterns, I'm not trading at all until I see volatility come back, because you just get wicked all the time, and that's not the game you want to play.
You want confidence.
Yeah, I just want to see real movements before I'm jumping in. And right now I'm waiting in my short, so.
Makes sense, man. Next up, we got Sody Pop, who wants to know if you ever keep a position open overnight.
Yep. I don't really care. Sometimes I have to wake up during the night. That's a little bit shit, especially when you're with a girl or whatever. But that's just business, man. It's 24/7. Sometimes you have to wake up, like I have to stay up all night, but it's cool.
What's your excuse when you have to wake up somebody? Hey, I have to go get wrecked at 5 a.m. Hang on a second.
Well, I just say that I have to work and that's it. But like what you can see, my bed is over here, so I don't have to go that far. So I can actually do it from my bed. But I've been trading some nights just all night, and that's a little bit shit when you're with friends around or whatever, or just going out and you have to go home because of the trade. That's shit. But in the end, it's about trading for like 6 or 7 years, experience one bull market, and then you should be done. It's the old OGs from 2014. They have experienced a new bull market and they are done, like Cryptocopia or whatever. They don't have to work at all anymore. So that's just what's in your mind. Then I'll just be swing trading for a little bit more, I guess.
That's actually a really good transition. Speaking of experience, Yicky is asking what your best advice is for experienced traders who want to become independent and trade full time.
Experienced traders or inexperienced traders?
Experienced traders.
First of all, you have to have like a sort of bankroll in your spare account for that you can live for a full year without the pressure of actually making profit in trading. And if that's set, then you've got to get your rhythm going on. So you have to just wake up, go to the gym. That's what I'm doing is I wake up, I eat, I check the charts, make the update for my group, go to the gym, and then I'll go to the office for just as a normal working day. During the evening, I relax, final update, that's it. Just approach it as being a pro football player or just working. It's constant rhythm, living healthy, not like partying all the time because you make profits. And disciplined, and that's the only way you can actually succeed in this market. I'm not drinking that much at all, just to stay focused. That's like the few points, I guess.
You kind of have to build a system out of it too.
Yeah, you have to get used to it and get disciplined. And by doing it for a few years, you will get there. I can't say I'm there already. However, if I compare myself with like a year ago, I made some serious progress, and that's just all because of experience. You don't have to know all the TA points. It's all about your mental state. And if that's not right, then you won't be able to succeed.
It's good advice. So this is our last question here from the community, and I'll keep watching, and maybe some more will pop up, a little bit later on while we're looking at the charts. But as soon as we're done with this one, Michael, if you could, we're actually going to switch over and do that screen share.
That's cool.
So Snores is wondering, how is the overall crypto scene in the Netherlands, and specifically regulation-wise, but also just in general?
It's actually a big community in the Netherlands. It's one of the biggest in Europe, I guess. We've got events every week, like 3 or 4 of them. So it's actually quite cool. And on the regulation stuff, I feel like it's the same all over the place. They're still investigating on what they are, what these ICOs do, and what is the difference between them, because you've got different sort of ICOs, and Bitcoin is totally different, Ethereum is different, and they will actually regulate it because you have to have these regulations in place to actually make this a mature market. I'm not standing against regulation. I'm actually sort of a fan of it. Otherwise, the big pension funds and stuff won't step in, and this market won't go to the next bull run without it. So, but it's actually quite cool, especially in Amsterdam. There's a big community, and we've got, well, let's say a few hundred people around here. So that's cool.
A lot of meetups in the city?
Yeah. Actually, this week I could go to 3 of them on the same night.
Oh, word.
Yeah. The last night there were 2. Today there's 1, and tomorrow there's 1. And there are like 100 to 150 people every meetup. So it's crowded. It's cool.
I can't imagine how crowded it was last year, 2017 during the bull.
Yeah, well, one of the events is also a friend of mine, and they had the 1-year anniversary a few months back, and they shared pictures of their first event. That was actually during November 2017, I guess. Totally sold out.
Completely.
Right now there were like 20 people. So yeah, people just go away, but that's just glory hunters who want to make profit on a fast pace. They just move away out of the market. And given the fact that people are turning so fast bullish, we're still not there yet because there are too many of these glory hunters right now. But it's getting calmer. That's cool.
It'll change.
It will change in the end next year, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. So why don't we turn it over and turn it to you and take a look at some of the charts that you're looking at and what kind of setups you have.
Let me see. Share. I guess it's working right now.
Yes. Yeah, I see it on my end. Cryptocopia, let me know if you do as well, but I think we're all set.
I guess. Yeah, there it is. Hopefully, people can actually see it because it's maybe a little bit small on the YouTube channel. But yeah, what we have been discussing is that I'm in like a small short right now to hedge myself. Um, because of this pattern over here, we can actually just check the bigger time frames and discuss whether we are seeing the bottom right now. Um, but what I see here is the rising wedge structure, which we've broken downwards from, and it's actually a typical rising wedge. Slight higher tops with a big rejection here at the 4K. It tried to go through it without any big volume, and then the sell came in and the rejection with the various divergence. So right now we drop down, and I'm like waiting until we find a new floor. We have had a big impulsive wave, and from that we have to correct for a little bit, I say. Okay, it's working. That's nice. Um, and actually, I'm in a Litecoin short right now because it's more beautiful as a PA standpoint. Had a big impulsive wave upwards, and right now you can see there are some bearish digits on the RSI here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Moved into this resistance area, and I feel like we're gonna correct until at least the $40 zone. So yeah, I've entered this short here earlier this morning, and most likely what I want to see is this pattern, that we make a lower high and then bounce out of this trend line. But as you can see, I'm not the type of guy of using like 80,000 indicators.
Yeah, this is pretty clean.
Yeah, it used to. You have to have. Some people have the grid at the back of this, and that's just blurry. But even if you're using the Bollinger Bands, it just changes your picture.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're adding one line or one resistance, it changes your picture. Because if you didn't add this one and just look at this clean, you think, okay, fine, we've broken out of this one, we will retest here and go on. However, if we check this, then you can see that this could probably actually be the top of this wave, given the fact that there's a trend. So it changes your picture, but by using just PA and a small portion of indicators, it's more clean to actually use this, I guess. But again, let's see. I think it's more funny to actually discuss whether we've seen the bottom, in which I've been tweeting about this a little bit in the past. What I'm looking for in this bottom area is what you see here. You've seen that this is making another drop down after we have broken the support levels here. Support levels broken, retest, support level broken, big sell-off, a little upwards move towards the earlier resistance, which you could be seeing towards like 6K, and then another drop down. And then we made the bullish divergence on the bigger time frames, indicating that we have seen the bottom, in which you have seen on, we can see it actually on the indexes as well after the 2000 crisis and the 2008 crisis. We saw the actual bottom confirmation by that structure as well.
Okay.
Right now, we just had a big impulsive wave downwards, in which I believe we are correcting upwards to maximum 4.8K. We can go to 6K, who knows at this point. And then we have to go down again to actually create it over here as well. There's none over here because this is an high low. So I'm still waiting, and I'm feeling like we didn't have seen the bottom yet.
Just
So,
out of curiosity, do you think that there is any risk of using historical data from 2014, 2015?
yeah, it will never be the same, but it will sort of be the same, because every bubble pattern is almost identical to the other one. So that's why you can actually use the data from Bitcoin in 2017 with the equities markets right now.
Mm.
because it's just showing the same patterns before we drop down. Maybe I can actually show that.
I mean, all that we're looking at right here is psychology. You know, buyers and sellers psychology, and human nature doesn't change. You're still trading against other traders either way.
It is, yeah. And everybody sees the same. Everybody uses the same. However, people make profit and people won't. It's it, over here. We were in 2016 and 2017, or even here, the price was the same as the level we are on right now. What did change on fundamental part? Not much. It actually improved a lot because of the bubble and the awareness which is created.
Hmm.
However, after such a bubble, we have just a retracement downwards. That doesn't mean that the market is evolving even more. Um, it's just psychology. There, people have to get exhausted by selling before we can actually buy back in, and when we start making higher highs and stuff, and the hype is slowly getting back, you'll see more people coming in.
Mhm.
It's the same as on the equities markets. The companies are just making profit and just doing it fine. However, when there's this slight sentiment switch, the whole market changes. For instance, let me see if we can. Oh, this one is a little bit. If we go to the yearly one, actually,
Jesus, man, it is just up and up.
this is actually the same as Bitcoin, man. Fun part is if you look at this, then this is like the big Great Depression. It's the same sort of pattern as everything right now. I'm not like I'm
Oh,
not.
that's comforting.
Yeah, but even for instance, Amazon. This one is just mooning like crazy. Just get rid of the volume warrior. And this over here, this drop down is the 2000 crisis, the internet bubble. It's ridiculous. So yeah, you can actually just compare it. It's just the same pattern over and over again. But I'm at this point in a sort of short hedge to wait. I just want to see some more consolidation before I'm actually turning more bullish. Overall, the pattern is bullish, and I'm expecting that we will see 4.8k during the next month to get the FOMO back in,
Hmm.
and then we can slam dunked down again, I guess. Great Depression 2.0. Yeah, more people are actually saying that our system is coming to an end, especially in the States.
Yeah, there are a lot of people. I've seen a lot of heads of companies that are getting really nervous about the business cycle that we're in and where we're heading.
Well, there's a big problem that during economic recessions, people are actually, or the Fed is actually using the interest rate, lowered it to use it as sort of like backlog to actually improve the markets.
Yeah.
However, debt is at a sustainable or unsustainable height right now. The interest rates are very low, and there is like no instrument to help the economy get better at this point.
Mhm.
Everything is used. So since the big crisis of 2008, nothing is solved. The problem actually became bigger,
Mhm.
and that's actually the general tensions right now, I guess. The actual general conclusion many people have. For let me see if I can get this.
After we're looking at this one, or after we're finished looking at this one, double QP is actually hoping we can pull up the uranium chart if that's on TradingView.
Yeah, it is. Let's see if this is a company in uranium. This is beautiful, man. And let me see if I can find the. It's just big accumulation and going on right now. Yeah, that one I'm looking for. You're right, yeah.
This might be a stupid question, but can you trade uranium as a commodity, or are you buying equities, like shares of companies?
This is an ETF. So an uranium ETF. You can trade it with futures or whatever. It's the same as with gold or with silver.
Okay.
Or you can buy companies actually in uranium. There, I actually searched one last night. guess it was CCG, yeah, Cameco. This is one of the biggest uranium companies around. And this is also a bubble, as you can see.
Hmm.
Ended in 2006 and right now just accumulating.
Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of upward room there.
Like platinum and gold and silver, you can buy physical, which is also a hedge for yourself. However, the problem with that is that you can't sell it that easy, or you have to pay a tremendous amount of fees or transaction cost with it.
Mm.
But
are there any small cap coins that you're looking at right now?
yeah, I'm looking at my beauty Stratus. This one is, despite this stupid wick downwards on Binance, it's actually quite beautiful. Just broke this major downtrend since the actual bear market started. Retraced all the way down, and I feel like we can have a 3x from this one during alt season.
Mm-hmm.
Even more of these can actually just pump up. There are like Power Ledger is looking at like the same, however this retracement is a little bit more bigger than I expected. But all of these coins are just breaking out of downtrends with major volume, and I'm looking at these for a play. Komodo as well. Icon maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If Komodo keeps this support, then we can move on. So it's just beautiful PA, and there's some insane volume in this one, as you can see at the end here.
I'm so glad that you brought up Stratus. This is, I guess, the first time we're announcing it, but we're actually interviewing Chris from Stratus next week. That's our next AMA, you guys. So make sure you tune in because you're not going to want to miss this one.
Nice.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm quite bullish about Stratus as well. However, if we discuss price on Stratus, it has got so big retracement and just very small time frame pumps up, and then it retraces for like ages. So people are mostly fed up by the price, but it's one of the few projects that keeps on producing their stuff. They have been releasing a ton of new shit, and the new ICO was live yesterday, I believe. MediConnect, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not positive. They are really consistent though.
Yeah, they are. And that's quite good because I've been discussing this with Kilone. It's one of the guys from Stratus, or actually promoting Stratus.
Right.
And they raised 400K during 2015 for their ICO. And right now they are valued at 85 million. So they've got plenty of space to just keep working on for the coming 5-6 years, while the majority of the ICOs raised 50 million and don't have funds left anymore. So if you discuss fundamentals, then that's one of the bigger things to look at, is that the older ICOs didn't actually need that much money to create their product, while all the new projects raised 100 million and they are gone.
4 billion if you're EOS.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Actually, I've spoken to a Dutch ICO last time, or it was a few months ago. They raised 15 million for an exchange during November 2017. Kept all their tokens, and right now they are valued at 1.6 million, and they want to do an STO for 22 million in the coming months. Like, what's going on?
Who's buying that?
I hope nobody does. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But also want to keep a look at is metal over here. This volume is insane.
That's another project that we've actually, that was back when we were doing text-based AMAs, but we had them on, I think in 2017.
Mm-hmm. They had some fun in 2018, I believe. Not sure. But if I look at this, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for some consolidation here, and then I'm gonna buy it. But yeah, there are not plenty of opportunities right now, and right now actually Bitcoin is just staying around. That's cool. But
what are the time frames that you're looking at?
This is the 1 hour. Let's just delete this. This is the 1 hour. This is the 6 hour. Mostly just switching between time frames. I'm not regularly using one. The ones that I'm using the most is the 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, and 1 day. Sometimes 15 minutes or 30 minutes to actually just make a trade. For instance, this one was quite beautiful because it made a big pump. After that, it consolidates a little bit here.
Mm.
We will see on Bitcoin as well during the coming months, and pushed back up towards the target zone I mentioned here for 6.9k for myself.
Mm.
It's the first Fibonacci level. This is a 20% move in like 18 hours. So this one I've played, and that's a trade you can do. These big pumps, you probably will miss them. It's too hard to get these, especially these wicks. It's just thin order books with low liquidity, and there they pump up. Yeah, TA is really effective in the crypto market. Yeah, it is.
Mm.
I
think
don't.
those. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Just go ahead if you want.
I've heard in the past that, you know, especially when you're trying to hit those like out of nowhere, you know, crazy wicks upward, that's kind of the argument for holding long term versus trading, where, you know, if you can't predict the random pump, if you can't predict the random spike from news that people are receiving well in trading, if you hold long term, you'll kind of grab all of them just over a way longer time horizon.
Yeah, but like trying to catch these pumps shouldn't be an argument to hold any token, I guess. And like if you want to catch these wicks, it's 1 minute time frame. It's too hard to catch them.
Mm.
Unless you are like trading DLT or whatever, which pumped up like no tomorrow because of that article that HSBC is using DLT technology, and that's why this one pumped up. But an argument of, yeah, I'm holding one because of the wicks or because of the pumps, that's not the way to look at it, because the majority of the tokens will go away. Some of them will actually go back up and make a nice move again. The majority of these tokens will never get up again because they're just dead. Like everything, this is just going dead at this point. There are more of these. UWIC is just draining down the road.
Yeah.
What do we have more? Library credits.
I remember that one.
Hello. Yeah, it could go pump again because of market makers or whatever.
Oh, I think this is actually one of the projects that's gone, you know, at least pretty close to dead recently. Didn't they announce they were disbanding? And
did they? I don't know, man.
Let me try and pull it up. I have a feeling that they did. They said they were going to buy out token holders, which was like one of the few projects to really try and do that. But I could be talking out of my ass.
But even if we go up to like 5k right now, I probably sell the majority of my long-term backs, because if we drop back down to 2k and go sideways on Bitcoin, the majority of the coins will just vanish away, and then there's the real depression phase. Don't feel like we're already in depression. We could be close. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't find anything. I'm probably talking out of my ass.
Could be, I don't know.
So we are going to shut this down, I would say, in the next 5 minutes. But AMA, what do you guys think? Do you have any more questions for Michael?
It was not library.
It was out of Slovenia?
Yeah, it seems like.
All right, just kidding.
Oh yeah, we have Waves chart coming in.
Yiki's wondering if we could look at stellar lumens too.
That's cool. Waves is one of these not organic pushes we have seen lately. This whole move, I don't feel like it's really organic. One of the weirdest ones I've seen in a long time. But as long as it keeps the 7K zone over here, This one could go up. However, what we see is it's making constant lower highs. So, and potentially a descending triangle, and probably the volume is vanishing away as well.
Mm.
So at this point, I'm not really bullish about this one. If I'm long in this one, my stop will be close to 7K because of the fact that if we drop below this level, then there's like the drop could be severe. So I'm not that bullish on waves at this point, especially not after a 5x, or what was it? 5x, yeah.
Mm.
And I really don't like these market making patterns. It's so weird. So yeah, if you want to long this one, I'd say below a 7K stop loss.
You know what? Speaking of stop losses and risk, current value just asked really good question. So where do you take profits? If you're looking at Bitcoin, ETH, do you move into a stable coin? Do you go by percentages that you're looking at? Like how do you make that decision?
In the current market, profit taking is always in dollars. During downwards moving markets, the US dollar is your safe haven. Bitcoin is not. During upwards moving markets, Bitcoin is your safe haven, unless Bitcoin is going to retrace like 50%. So I'm always taking profits in dollars. Well, first in Bitcoin, and when I see Bitcoin moving down, I'm going to dollars or Tether.
Word. Listen, I think that's a great place to end it. I mean, Michael, this was awesome looking at the charts. Why don't we end it on a positive note, talking about some profits? That's a really great problem to have. So hopefully a lot of us do. And if not, then hopefully this market turns around pretty soon. But thank you again for doing this, man. It's been really great to pick your brain a little bit. Is there anything that you want to shout out? Do you want to tell us about your Telegram group?
Just follow me on Twitter, man. Just follow me. I'm the biggest shit poster around, but no, I'm kidding. But just follow me on Twitter, and that's fine, man. Everything is posted there.
And that's at Crypto Mitch, MICHNL.
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
Cool, man.
Followed from me at least, but
thank you, bro.
Shout out to everybody else. Follow Michael, Crypto Michael on Twitter. Man, thank you again for doing this. It was a pleasure. And you know, we will be watching what you're calling out, because these are some really great targets that you gave us.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, and all the best with your YouTube channel as well, man.
Thank you. Happy trading.
Thanks, man. See ya.